Welcome back to the I Self Reflect podcast. I'm your host, Lauriano mercado. And today's journey, I want to talk about the fear of success and the New Year's resolution. Now, I'm going to propose these videos out from here on out. I love the I Self Reflect because by me just saying it and calling it that, and once you hear it and you say it to yourself, I would hope to invoke that ability within yourself to say, I self reflect, dot, 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 then afterwards. Because, it's going to be a little boring just hearing my thoughts and my views. But with this format, I want to propose like a grand idea, some question or thought provoking notion of dealing with self reflection or anything like that with the human mind for self growth and positivity for the future. So I'm going to propose like a grand statement, and then from there, propose a list of questions while you listen to this or watch this that you can also intake for yourself and answer those. And if something really intrigues you and stands out to you, please leave a comment below, and let's really mind jam about this, and let's get some nice community and conversation going on. So, for today, the fear of success and the New Year's resolution. Let's just jump right in and jump on this journey. And so let's mind jam. So, a couple of questions here. Why do you think people are afraid of success? And initially, the only way I can answer this is speaking from myself, and I hope you guys leave some comments about your thoughts and ideas as well. So I'd perhaps propose this. Why am I afraid of success? Hence, coming up with this notion and idea. There's a lot of steps and visions we have for our own futures, and we realize we're perhaps not excelling to the greatest capacity that we could be. And so I've had a lot of self-reflection time and be like, why am I afraid of this thing called success? And I've noticed that I was because I was always putting a cap to my limit. As in, I'd get so far and I would hit certain numbers in my life and my areas that I wanted to hit. And I noticed patterns. Once I got to those places, I would purposely knock myself back down, um, and I wasn't sure if it was like a reality check or what it was. And it's a bit of a few things, but one of the greatest things is once I keep excelling on this path to success within my life, I'm not sure if you can call it fear or scared, but there's nothing more that drives me afterwards as opposed to that initial success. So imagine you've already hit not rock bottom, but you're just starting from the ground up and building that foundation for hence a successful life. What I've noticed with myself, I get to a certain point and then I get really uncomfortable because I know new doors are about to open up for me, and it's almost like holy shit, is this can go any which direction, and then fear and anxiety kick in, and I'm like, well, I could just roll back down to what I know and kind of essentially start over again, and then keep building myself up and then back down, then build myself up, then back down. And so, my patterns and routines, as opposed to being a scientist to my own world to figure out what do I do? Why do I do things for myself? And it's just an interesting notion. And what helps me to get through that is talk to a lot of close friends to get their points of views. I'm like, man, I do this, and then I knock myself down for that. And it's one of those things I just have to get out of my comfort zone and really expand my horizons to try new things. Hence, this video podcast is going to be fucking brilliant because this is still nerve wracking as fuck. But this is a new branch or new tree. And so I'm not sure why most people do it, but for my own reasons, because the comfortable zone gets capped out. And then I just bring myself back down to a self-realization and be like, oh, well, stay here because you already know the process. And when I restart, I get to that process a lot quicker. And it's definitely like living in a fucking comfortable city with my bed made, and it's not good. So, um, throughout this journey, hopefully we all can learn together and help each other to grow beyond this and be like, yo, let's break this ceiling and keep helping each other out because I know for myself, it's time to be uncomfortable and, you know, face the piper and try new things. And so the next question I proposed was what's with the idea of starting a new routine or developing a fresh start for the new year? Why don't more people, let's say, start in December or at a random point throughout the year to have what we call like this New Year's resolution? And it's an interesting factor. It's almost like when people want to start a new routine, whether it's the gym, the diet, or something along those paths. We always start on a Monday, or at least our brains are like, no, let me start on this new week, as opposed to, why don't I start on a Wednesday? So let's mind jam about that, and I want to hear your thoughts as well. Why do we wait for this whole New Year's resolution to kick ourselves in the ass to start doing the things that we know we should be doing to better ourselves? And it could be this whole comfortability reasoning, this comfort zone. Um, just habits and patterns in our daily lives matter so much. And they say it takes about, 67 days or so to develop a new pattern. And perhaps with a starting day of like 1, as in January, and then January 1st, we like to start from here, from the foundation, and build up. And maybe it's like a psychological reason where if we start, hey, November 23rd or even December 23rd to start this new wave of our life, it just doesn't quite compute with us. But I just find that so interesting and fascinating. And at least for myself, I do the same thing. And, I find myself, oh, well, of course, I missed the gym for 3 days, but now it's a Wednesday. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to start back on Monday and get it started. So, what is the like the trick or tips that we can tell ourselves to be like, it's fucking Wednesday, go in. It's okay if it's 6:30 at night, or start the next day, which is on a Thursday, or hence for the New Year's resolution. Why don't we start on December 1st? It's like not even getting a month to jumpstart. It's just doing what we love when we love, and so it's almost like I smoke cigarettes, at least currently for now, until I quit. I've always told myself and my friends, if we're not quitting bad habits and bad pattern, it's because we don't want to. When we realize we actually do want to, then that's when we actually start. Even though we know it's bad habits and this and that, once you can convince your mind to flip the switch off to, hey, no, I'm ready. I don't need it anymore. I don't want to. We have to mark off certain boxes and really be ready for this. But I think everything in life is a mental game. Hence, this is just all going to be us mind jamming about all of this. So I want to hear your thoughts about that. Why do people start in the new year? And we have to just break these patterns and cycles. So I wonder if this keeps continuing for next December. Let's develop a community and really start making this new wave and transition of starting earlier and just kicking our fucking lives in the asses and getting into gear. Because really, it's just as what Nike might say, is just do it. And we realize the action behind our words is more powerful than just words. So hence, we just got to change that mindset or something, because then if you start on the New Year's and you don't start on that first or second, or even first week, then you're just setting yourself up for pretty much failure if you don't start. Because then you're like, oh, fuck, I missed the deadline, so to say, and like, what the fuck? So we're just giving ourselves opportunities to beat ourselves up and then just continue those same habits and patterns. So if we shift a pattern or recognitions of our lives that we're focusing on now, just shift it a little bit to something else, perhaps we might have different results. And so that might be a proposed solution for the near future here. Excuse me. And then I also proposed the question, what does the comfort zone do for people, and how can one recognize that they're in their own comfort zone? Now, it's kind of a trick question. You can't dictate how people live their lives. If they're comfortable, they're comfortable. As long as you're happy, brilliant. But I find more often than not, people love living the comfort zone just because. And it could be the whole thing as within myself, the I'm afraid of success, and I like to hit a cap wall and then bring myself back down because I'm fucking playing with myself, and I gotta keep it going and break that glass ceiling and keep going and just get uncomfortable and try new shit like this, and it's like and then we think too much. So, but the comfort zone for people, if you're living in it, I think you just already know. We know our daily patterns and our habits where, you wake up one day, if you have a job to go to, you go to that job, you perhaps drive the same route. Everything just becomes numb after a while, like second nature. And I would actually sum all that up as the comfort zone. Coming home, even if it's healthy, you're going to the gym, this and that. What just bewilders me is that, let's just theoretically say we live up to 100 years old. Maybe we should just try new things. Like perhaps like this whole coronavirus, and with the future of AI that's probably going to take over, I'm actually thrilled to see it, because it's like once people are more set up, it's like when robots or some other shit takes over, everyday jobs. It gives a human thought process the idea of, well, what's next? How can I be creative to do something else? Or what should I do now? And as a human being, I love that. I wish everybody didn't have to work and had enough means to take care of themselves and their family based on their own creativity, love, and passion. And it's just going to be wonderful. So it's like, before any of that really happens, and I feel like coronavirus and quarantine gave us a taste of it. It's like, what can we do now with that little taste to set ourselves for the future that we want, based on our own inner love, our inner passions, and our inner drive? Because once you set up your routine, working to 9 to 5, although if you love it, that's brilliant, But I think I like to bring back the thought to when you were like 3 or 4 years old. Are you living that, child heart passion and love immersed into this euphoric experience that you wanted to? And I just feel like sometimes people get stuck into a routine just to make ends meet. And I get it. It's like, I think we could just be doing more and excelling. And it's one of those things, is to get out of those comfort zones and the routines of daily lives. And then I proposed the question, what does success mean to you? Now, this is definitely going to mean different to everybody, whether it's wealth, health, love, happiness. It's going to mean an array of different things. For my own success, I want to be financially stable. I want to be financially free. To me, that's the ultimate success, especially on this human world where we actually have to sacrifice time and energy and kind of lose a lot of creativities in our brains for the other people, other things, other stuff, house, roof, and stuff like that. But success for me is becoming financially stable. It's definitely one of those fears in the world, to where if you can't afford to pay the bills or groceries or take care of your kids, shit kind of gets tricky. And so, at least for me at this moment in time, is, number one's goal to be financially stable, to do what I love, and be my own boss, essentially. But I propose that question to you, and I'd love to hear what you think, what success means to you, and how it's enveloped in your own life. And with all those mind-jamming questions, if you have time, please leave a comment, because I really want to talk about this. And today is December 19th, which is on a Sunday, which what I want to start doing more often, as well as doing self-care Sundays. And not to be an advocate of anything. It's more like once you hit play, I just want you to remind you, if you haven't done yet, to be able to take time for yourself. We live in a hustle and bustle world, and it's hard to just breathe, you know. And that's interesting. I did not know there are 8 main areas of self care, and I'm curious which one like stands out to you. Self care, I thought was like taking time for yourself, relaxing, doing things that you love. But I guess there's 8 main areas, and let me tell you about these. So there's physical, psychological, emotional, social, professional, environmental, spiritual, and financial. It's like movement on the body, the health, nutrition, sleep, resting needs, etc. But that's interesting. So if you think about self-care, you probably, just like myself, only thought of probably one of those areas. So when you encompass self-care in all those areas, for me, it might change the game for some of us to where we have a different apple in the seed, and also we're like, it might bloom to more areas. So because self-care helps with a lot of depression, anxiety, feeling loneliness, or if you're just overworked. If you're trying to do self-care and you still feel these, perhaps you might want to dabble into one of the 8 areas of this plethora of thing called self-care. Because self-care, I just wanted to be a remembrance that just take time for you, your body, your mind, your spirit, your loved ones, and your health. Because we're worth it. It's going to be fucking great. I like to tell my friends that your future self will thank you. It's almost like if we were 80 years old currently right now, and you're like in a rocking chair, just looking at the sunset or the sunrise, and you're just thinking about your past life that you just lived. If you had that perspective in life, and hopefully not, most people might say, well, what would you do differently? Or what if I did that? And it's like, man, if I only had a second chance, I would definitely do this. And then I'm like, boom. Now you're back here to where you are listening to this and watching this. Here's your second chance, And I love that perspective, because then you can take the outer to the interview. And this is it, baby. You got it. Whatever you want to do, you can do. And I just invoke people to do more things out of passion, love, and your own inner drive, and not listen to everybody else that might be around you, or social media, or the news, or whatever it might be. So if you had a second chance, let me end today's episode with this. If you had your what if 80 years old, 90 years old moment, and this was your second chance in life, what would you do? How would you take care of yourself? So your future self would be like, God damn it, you fucking did it. So there it is, folks. And with all that said, I want to say thank you for joining me in today. Please, if you have time, subscribe, leave a like, but most importantly, I would rather see comments. Let's mind jam about this, and let's continue this journey together. Because the next one I'm going to do, I'll probably have some guests on. I'll probably be on other people's podcasts, but my format for myself, going to propose an idea, some questions that we can bounce back and forth to each other, and then tell you my point of views from them, from my own self, and sometimes an outer self, but we'll get there later. But thanks for tuning in, and as always, I love you guys. Bye.